for their supplies. But even as the power of oil has dwindled, gas, on the other hand, is a necessary ascendancy, and we must never stop reminding ourselves that gas nation even more than we see ourselves today, and that the gas is a short sight because the world itself is changing, and it's changing very, very fast. Given the position that we are all in transitive fuel, is a shift from fossil fuel to renewable energy. So that in itself too is a cause of concern. We must not fall from the trap of living in the so-called good old days. It is very tempting to become obsessed with a time when it seemed as if the world was our feet, and to therefore languish in regret and reject. I would like to counsel against this. We must never commit to the grievous error of focusing only on what we have done wrong or has not done according to plan. We must perfect the act of dreaming big and then working hard to turn those dreams into reality. We must look forward with optimism and boldness, learning from the errors and mistakes of the past while refusing to hold back by them. We must learn from the examples of others as well. We must walk the path that we intend to walk. And as I close, Nigeria has everything it takes to be a world power. We have fought and conquered much in our history. We survived the Civil War. We survived many coups d'etats. We pushed ahead to entrench democracy. Most recently, we tackled COVID-19 in a manner that impressed the world, with Lagos being both the epicenter of the pandemic and a leading actor in the national response. We have waged a successful war against terrorism. We have denied Boko Haram and ISWAP their goal of establishing a caliphate on our land. We are now extending the energy to deal decisively with banditry. Under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, we are resetting the very foundation of our economy through policy, legislation, and diplomacy. As the march towards 2030 progresses, we must keep our eyes on the goal, mobilizing every energy, resource, and partnership, redoubling our efforts to ensure that the bold ambition of 2030 do not slip away. I can clearly picture what 2030 looks like. $1 trillion national economy. That's audacious, that's big. It will help us win the war against poverty and crime. The ruling the world with the arts, culture, technology, and sports. It will help us power the jewel of Lagos, a mega city of the 21st century, a one that will not go to sleep. I thank you all for listening.
And Prince Julie, you want to say something, sir? Thank you, sir.
Okay. I'll let you know that fortunately I was one of the two masters of ceremony when this original building was commissioned by the president for Abalewa. But I have seen the building, the facility go all the way down. Today, the building is born again. And I would like to appreciate. Thirdly, I appreciate the fact that the authorities chose to have a woman to be the chairman of this occasion. As the Irish proverb says, the best man to do a job is always a woman.
Thank you.
But seriously, Your Excellency, here you are, standing there, lanky, young, ready to go, and you delivered the lecture in a very sprightly manner. May your health sustain and wisdom be divinely guided.
Amen.
It's not easy to be a politician. You have to be politically correct, and there are too many pros and cons listening and watching you, but you are covered by the grace of God. We've had very many lectures here, succinct lectures. Very often, globally speaking, it's not what is said, but who says it that seems to matter. In this same hall, we've listened to all kinds of brilliant ideas, but now we have a whole governor making time not only to deliver these ideas, but also to make promise to have some facility named after him. You're doing well. It's the beginning. However, there are actions necessary beyond ideas. Many ideas have been thrown at us this day. Nigeria is full of fantastic talent. Military, non-military, media. They've thrown ideas on the board, but we are very well noted for lack of implementation. Maybe from today, Your Excellency, we would have a way of having some of these ideas put into action. You mentioned Bolaji Akinyemi. He was Director General 1975 to 1983. I was on the governing board of Bolaji Akinyemi. We were young. We had fantastic ideas. We made all kinds of writings. Most of these documents are gathering dust somewhere. What we need is a leader who will not only pay attention to these ideas, but do something about it. Please cast your mind back to somebody called Sheikh Rashid bin Zayed Al Maktoum, who virtually created Dubai. From 83 onwards, he was talking like governor was talking. He meant it. He wanted something done. Nothing was done. Somehow he was in a position of influence and started in the early 90s. And he changed Dubai from a fishing village in the 19th century to now a global metropole. It can be done. Nigerians are much brighter than most people on this planet Earth. Our prayer should be that we have leaders who can get together and propel these ideas up towards reality.
It can be done.
Sir,
thank you very much.
Finally, sir, before I round up, I'm looking at my sister, Isi, Ibi Joke. Thank you for always supporting him.
Yes, I join you.
He was making a speech. As soon as you entered, we were very popular. We had very many chances. We made our choices. Today we are facing the consequences. The prayer of everybody here should be that we have bright young people who would look at our choices from our chances, so that the consequences in the future would please the future generations. It can be done. It will be done. Please say amen. Amen. Ha, ha, ha.
Thank you, sir.
We need to ignite it to be able to accomplish our dreams and aspirations. I am one of those that believe that a lot of us have formal certifications, but common sense, wisdom, critical thinking strategies are missing in most of our lives. Government needs to look at our parenting and educational curricula to include personal development. As you build your life, you commit to consistent and personal development to make sure you live a life of passion and impact.
Thank you very much, Ife. So we take the...
Thankfully, 2 weeks ago, they hosted, the GITEX conference there in in Abuja, but largely in Lagos. But the point to take away is that for us signifies, one, our commitment, our ability to connect with the world technology market, our capacity to be able to use the very innovative, dynamic, young
population that we have, that we know that they are extremely very resourceful in technology, but to be able to handshake them, I would say that I'm not part of that world again, but we need to provide for them a platform for them to be able to engage and know, the big players in the world so that they can take them forward. And guess what? The largest, concentration of all startups were in Lagos, right? And that's how you build it. And everything is being developed on artificial intelligence. So we're on the path. We're on the direction. And so what government needs to do, we need to continue to remain a strong enabler, for these kids. And part of the things that we're doing as a government is that we're actually even resourcing them. We're giving them grants under, our last, which is Lagos State Science and Research Council, so that they can bring out products and skills that can compete not only locally, but globally. So we have all of that in our template to enable and to enhance, capability. Innovation, it's something that it can come from Ikorodu, it can come from Ekpe, it can come from anywhere, but we need to make sure that they're in the room, to have that. So GuiTex has given others opportunity. They probably will come back next year or the year after again, but we have broken, that record. We're able to attract 78 participating countries from 78, came from different parts. And so they've handheld each other, and we're beginning to we will track and monitor the outcomes, of such, a global world conference. So we're lucky to have that. But as a government, like I said, our commitment is to create that space, that enablement, for them. And we, modestly in Lagos State, we are one of the most advanced technology, as a public sector. We're building another data center, in the state, for example. And, we have all about the private sector that is really about the young, smart, 20, 24, 23-year-old Nigerian, Lagosian who wants to take over the world, and we need to provide that platform for them. So it's in our beat. Auntie Ife, thank you very much. You and I know your clear interest, is around capacity development, intuition of the mind, and part of the things that you want to pass on is that skill of ensuring that it's not only just, academic development, but, being, a true citizens that is properly, engaged, both mentally, psychologically, and they have all of the capacity and capability to be, a useful citizens for themselves and for their family. We'll continue to see how we engage you further. You understand? I mean, I know. But part of the things that we have also done in terms of throwing back to the system, the lady sitting 6, 7 people away from you, sitting next to our auntie, Mrs. Ibru, that lady sitting next to you, she's the executive secretary of our Lateef Jakonde Leadership Academy, Aisha, right? So this is a leadership academy that we set up 2 years ago in honor of the first civilian governor of Lagos, Alhaji Lateef Jakonde. And this academy produces fellows. It's a 1-year fully residential internship program that we're trying to be able to scale up the development of future leaders, both in the private sector and the public sector. It's age range, the people come in age between 24 and 34. And we keep them, fully residential for 1 year. They graduate after the end of the 1 year into fellows. We've finished the second cohort. The third cohort was starting next month, which is another 30. And the 30, we ensure that it's 16, 15 male, 15 female. The same number, fully paid for, and they go around training in both private sector, public sector, and they do community engagement. They go on international, explosion. They go the best practices. In the last one, they went to Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Governance. We are trying to institutionalize, development of real leaders into our system, and this sort of thing we believe we can leave behind when we take a bow.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ongoing, yes. Please.
Who's here is a Nigerian. I said yes. He said, why? He says, because Nigerians are very confident people. They are very forward. Nigerians don't even wait for you to say, but they know everything. Now, that's a perception of Nigerians. No, so today when you talk about the Nigerian is seen as a person who is made to succeed. And that is very positive. I'm sure you have in mind some of the negative images we have, which, thank God, those images have not overwhelmed what the world has known of Nigeria. Now, just look around. There is no surprise at all when a Nigerian does something that is extraordinary. That's what the world expects of us. So that overwhelms, unfortunately, what some people would have thought about Nigeria. And that's the truth. So image matters, and we must work at it. About corruption, really, it is not left only to government. And we should not think of dealing with corruption as a government problem. I mean, this is, something from a sociological theory. Let me just explain it a little bit. In a society where people have a consciousness of being people who are helpless, that's the kind of society where they attribute everything to government. And they say, it's government that is refusing to do its job. Now, in our society, think what it is. We are very, very conscious of moral values. Omoluabi, for instance. We want, people to be responsible and so on. If we all live up to those things that we know, we'll be dealing with corruption. Naming and shaming, this is part of our responsibility. And I'm happy the Democrat has said it. It's not only about tanks, it's also about our ability to speak truth to power. Now, all the people who do wrong in our midst, we must become soldiers of the anti-
Hello and welcome to Biscon TV News. I am Jones Hussein. First, the headline stories. Jandor predicts Tinubu's 2027 victory, declares fresh Lagos governorship bid. PDP dissolves Akwa Ibom executive over alleged APC alignment. In business, Tinubu to inaugurate $400 million indigenous crude export terminal in Rivers State. On the foreign scene, Trump declares armed conflict with drug cartels amid rising tensions with Venezuela. In sports, Flying Eagles edge Saudi in dramatic 3-2 thriller at Under-20 World Cup. Now the news in detail. Former PDP governorship candidate Abdulaziz Adediran, popularly known as Jandor, has forecast a landslide win for President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 presidential election, calling it a walkover. Jandor said the political dynamics have shifted since 2023, when Tinubu lost Lagos to Peter Obi, and emphasized that his return to the APC strengthens the party's position. Jandor also confirmed his intention to run again for Lagos governor in 2027, stating that he brings valuable ballot experience. He welcomed speculation around other aspirants, including Sheyi Tinubu, and pledged to support whoever the APC ultimately selects. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has dissolved its Akwa Ibom State executive, citing concerns over their alleged alignment with Governor Umoino, who defected to the All Progressives Congress APC. National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunagba said the move was necessary to protect the party's integrity and enforce constitutional provisions that prohibited dual party affiliations. A caretaker committee led by Igwa Umorin has been inaugurated to restore order and reassert PDP's control in the state. The decision follows months of internal tension after Eno's defection, which ended PDP's long-standing dominance in Akwa Ibom and raised fears of further erosion of its political base. In another development, southwest states have ramped up border security following a wave of deadly bandit attacks in Kwara State, which left dozens dead and forced thousands to flee. Security chiefs in Oyo, Osun, Ekiti, and Ondo confirmed containment strategies were in place to prevent infiltration by fleeing attackers. Intelligence reports indicate bandits were moving southwest amid ongoing military operations in Kwara. Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak visited affected communities, commiserated with victims, and pledged enhanced security. I beg your pardon. The Nigerian Air Force has deployed fighter jets for surveillance, while Alaafin of Oyo offered support and urged national unity. Despite efforts, residents remained fearful as attacks persist across multiple local government areas. We'll take a break here for business news. Welcome back. In business, let's tell you that President Bola Tinubu will inaugurate the $400 million Otakbo onshore crude oil export terminal in Rivers State on October 8, marking Nigeria's first crude oil export facility in over 5 decades. Developed by Green Energy International Limited, the terminal is located at Ikuru Town, Andoni local government area, and is designed to ease evacuation bottlenecks that have long hindered oil production. With a storage capacity of 750,000 barrels, expandable to 3 million, and a daily loading capacity of 360,000 barrels, the facility is expected to unlock output from over 40 stranded oil fields. Industry leaders and government officials hailed the project as a strategic boost to indigenous production and a milestone in restoring investor confidence in Nigeria's oil sector. Another break here, and we return with foreign news. Welcome back. President Donald Trump has formally declared the U.S. Was in armed conflict with drug cartels following recent military strikes on suspected smuggling boats of Venezuela that left at least 14 dead. In a notice to Congress, the administration labeled cartels as terrorist organizations and their operatives as unlawful combatants, justifying expanded military action in the Caribbean Sea. The escalation has triggered diplomatic friction with Venezuela, which accused the U.S. of illegal airspace incursions and violating international law. Trump's deployment of warships, fighter jets, and a nuclear submarine marks the region's largest military buildup in decades, with critics warning of potential regime change motives and likes. And now, a break for sports news. Now, welcome to sports news. Let's tell you that Nigeria's Flying Eagles kept their Under-20 World Cup hopes alive with a dramatic 3-2 win over Saudi Arabia in their second Group F match in Chile. Captain Daniel Bamei was a hero, scoring a stoppage time penalty to seal the win. The Saudis had twice come from behind to level the match, but Bamei held his nerve from the spot in the 94th minute. Earlier, goals from Nasiru Salihu and Amos Ochoche gave Nigeria the lead. Defensive lapses allowed the Saudis to hit back through Ammar al-Yuhabi and Talal Haji. The result puts Nigeria third in the group on 3 points, behind Colombia and Norway, who played out to a goalless draw. Saudi Arabia remained bottom. The Flying Eagles face Colombia next in their final group game on Monday, October 6. And lastly in sports, Bafana head coach Hugo Broos says South Africa could still qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, despite FIFA docking the team 3 points for fielding an ineligible player. The sanction came after midfielder Teboho Mokoena played in March's Group C game